We're joined this morning by Venu, who's the Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of Hitachi Energy. Mr. Venu, thanks so much for taking the time and congratulations on a great set of numbers. I think a lot of your shareholders, prospective shareholders, will be asking the question as to, one, what led to such a sharp uptick in the margins? Of course, we've just had Anushi explain some aspects of it, but coming from you, it would make a difference. And also the outlook going forward. Is this trajectory likely to continue in terms of execution? Order book is not seeming to be a question mark at all.
Thank you, Alex, and good morning to everybody, and thank you for having me in your show. And as you rightly said, this is a very strong quarter for us, and a strong order and resilient margins, and also a very strategic focus on the execution. Which has given us a sustained momentum both in terms of the top line as well as the bottom line in that. So if you really look at in this quarter, if I can demystify a little bit more on that, our orders continue to be a strong momentum for several quarters. We have been saying this. The tailwinds arising out of the energy transition is so huge, and we have been taking a lot of actions over a period of time. The localization in locally creating the manufacturing, etc., has helped us be more competitive and take those orders. And then revenue, and we could manage this quarter with a very good mix of product mix and also a strong execution, and in addition to our operational excellence, all those things have helped us margins. And if you recall, a couple of years back, we have been saying we are creating a company in a very strong, growth oriented, including the double-digit operational EBITDA, and we have been saying this consistently, and we have reached that in much ahead of what we talked about us, and we continue to do from there. And exports is another lever, and the service is the last one, helping us to both on the margin accretions in that.
Mr. Venu, good morning. Neeraj here.
Good morning, Neeraj.
One question is around the sustainability of operational metrics and return ratios as more competition comes in. You've clocked in some fabulous numbers. You reckon these are sustainable for the next 1, 2, 3 years?
I think double-digit margin, we have been saying this, and the double-digit operational EBITDA is sustainable. It's a few percentage this way, that way is all what we can talk about is. But, growth higher than the market is what we are market average growth, and sustaining the double-digit margin is what we have been looking at. As I said, we have taken several actions, and all the levers are in play, including our domestic, top line going up, and then our exports very robust and sustained. We said we are limiting 25% because we have a lot of opportunities in the domestic market. And we also said that the service is going to be a big play for us, and we have created a separate business unit, and we are leveraging our existing install base. We have more than 60,000 crores worth of install base, which we have created last several years, decades, and that's what we're going to leverage going forward in that, and that would help us in a sustained double-digit margins.
Okay, and the other part is pricing. Is there any kind of pricing pressure right now, or is demand more than making up for that? Part one. Part two, based on capacities coming up, could pricing see stability or a downtick anytime in the next 6 to 9 to 12 months?
No, I think pricing pressure, country like India always has been there, and it will be there. Affordability is very, very important in Indian domestic market. Right? Unlike in other parts of the world where we can sell at any price, but here it's always an important in that, and we always mindful about it. That's the reason our focus has been localizing. We've been talking in your own show. I talked about a couple of quarters back. Localization is the key to compete in the thing in that, and I'm not really worried about it. Yeah, there could be a bit of softening of those things, but I think those things have been factored in our things in that.
Right. Mr. Venu, good morning. Hiral on this side. Talking about capacity, initially you have mentioned that there is a shift happening when it comes to capacity expansion, and now you're looking at capacity absorption, and that's the conversations that you've been having time and again. So if you talk about the current share of revenue coming from digital solutions and the advanced grid technologies, how is the company leveraging the technology, and what is the outlook looking like from an absorption perspective now?
No, absolutely. I think this is a great question. As I've been saying that, we have to focus more on, whatever capacities we have built, how do we absorb? And that's where, our digital technology will come. And Hitachi has a lot of play in bringing IT and OT technologies together in that to our customers, especially the industrial customers and the new set of new age customers like a data center customers. They really like to leverage both IT and OT integration of the technologies in that. Right now, it's a very low single digit coming in that, but I think outlook is very good. I would say that we are looking at in a reasonable in the midterm anywhere between 2 to 3 years. This low single digit of digital technologies take into at least double digit of our revenues going forward.
Okay, so double-digit revenue is what you're eyeing on that front.
Yeah.
Great numbers on a year-on-year basis, Mr. Venu, but sequentially, I was just looking at the numbers. There has been a drop in terms of revenue and profitability. Is this suggesting that there is some bit of project lumpiness that is coming in? And how do you think should investors or analysts actually look at the quarter-on-quarter variability when it comes to the rest of FY26? Basically, question being, are there any large project milestones that could be scheduled in the third and the fourth quarter that could impact recognition?
Now, if you're talking about the sequentially, I think in the revenue-wise, there is no drop. As you can see, the revenue year-on-year, 23% growth, and also quarter-on-quarter is also 25% growth. What probably you may be talking about is the orders. As you can see, on a quarter-on-quarter basis, our orders are dropped because we had a large HVDC project in the previous quarter. But if you remove the large HVDC quarter and our base orders growth even in the sequential quarter-on-quarter is at 25% is a very strong momentum. You all know that every quarter we will not get the HVDC project, but what is important is that the base load coming in the transmission, in the data center, in the industries, in the service, and etc. are very critical for our revenue accretion.
Mr. Venu, I just want to ask you about exports as well. You maintained the share at about 30% or thereabouts. I'm just wondering about the outlook in the second half, because particularly in the markets I think that you play in, there is a fair degree of uncertainty, isn't there?
I think we have not seen yet on the uncertainty part because again, the energy transition tailwinds in the markets where we are playing is very robust. And the demand for the technologies such as the transformer, the switchgear, and the HVDC, STATCOMs, automation is very good in that. And we are not seeing the slowdown in that. So again, we are saying that on an overall basis, on a quarter-on-quarter, it might vary 25, 30, something like that. But on a yearly basis is where we would like to stabilize around 25%, which we have been doing for the last 2 years. And we would like to do it in the next couple of years also in that. Because why we cannot exceed more than 25%? Because we have a huge local demand coming in that. So we want to serve the local demand with our capacities. And as you all know that we have in a massive expansions, and we announced a 2,000 crore capex during our October event, and we also raised the funds. As we speak, a lot of projects are in the various stages of completion, and from next year onwards, part of the capacities will come into picture.
Okay. Mr. Venu, all the best for the quarters ahead. Thanks so much for joining in and giving us clarity around all of these things. Really appreciate it.
Thank you very much.